I'd like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of January 11th, 2024, to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Sinski for a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunter.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Barker.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Trustee Simonovich.
Here.
Attorney Zimmerman.
Here.
Village Manager May.
Here.
And Assistant Village Manager Parker.
Here. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone, and the next item is our open forum. And just as a reminder, if you want to address the board for something that's not on the agenda, this is the appropriate time. If something's on the agenda, you'll have an opportunity to talk about that subject when we get to it. We have, anybody else? We have one request. And it's from Gina Pirelli, and she's wants to know about immigration. She's from 248 Black Hawk Drive. Yeah, it's yours, yeah.
Hi, my name is Gina. I live in Westmont. Obviously, we know there's an issue with the illegal immigration in Illinois. Our governor has already issued his 18th emergency proclamation regarding the illegal immigration issue going on in Illinois. And I know several other towns have, made guidelines, I guess, for buses being dropped off. So I guess I just don't know what Westmont's plan is. And also, my other question would be if any of the mayors around are reaching out, connecting, even to just, because I'm assuming you guys have better connection to the governor's office, to see about making either DuPage County a non-sanctuary county, or even, requesting that we not be in sanctuary state. I think right now there's over 30,000 illegal immigrants in Cook County, Chicago. And I think this week, I read an article this week, they just busted a sex trafficking rink with some of the illegal immigrants in Chicago. And then with the crime at Oak Brook, I think about over 700 have been charged with some kind of crime in Cook County. And then also the cost of housing. I don't know if anyone's thought about the cost to the taxpayers, whether it's local or, Westmont, DuPage, Illinois. I know a lot of families are struggling. And I think there's over 8 million that have crossed the border in the last 3 years. And they just had a situation in Brooklyn, New York, where they kicked out 4,000 students to house 2,000 illegal immigrants in their school. So eventually, it's, as we continue to get more, these are things that I hope all leaders are thinking about. And I guess I just want to know what Westmont's plan is in reference to these buses. So, thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else for open forum, I'll close open forum and move on to reports. My report is first, and I will read this following statement. In regards to DuPage County recent migration concerns. There has only been one bus drop-off of migrants in our community, which occurred on December 23rd, since the recent situation arose. The drop-off of migrants in our community was without incident, and all but 2 of the people boarded a Metro train and headed to downtown Chicago within 20 minutes of arrival. No further migrant-related issues or concerns have occurred in our community since the drop-off. The village issued a statement to the community on December 28th regarding this drop-off. No updates have been needed since this initial release. Village staff, in conjunction with partnering partnering county agencies is monitoring this situation throughout the region so to be ready to respond if any safety issue arises. Village staff, in conjunction with partnering county agencies, have been discussing contingency plans so to be ready to respond if any safety issue arises. Thus far, the great majority of all DuPage municipalities have not enacted any policy regarding this matter. It has been noted that enacting policy regarding this item may result in unwanted attention for that community. Our options to respond to this issue as a village may be limited due to the facts that we are not a home rule community and Illinois is an official sanctuary state. So again, from the safety standpoint, I know our police chief is very involved with DuPage County Chiefs Association. We're very active in DuPage mayors and managers, and most of the leadership at DuPage mayors and managers are following the same sort of path right now. So just thought I'd read that. And following that up, I have a very sad note. Wally Van Buren, who was our Secretary of Planning and Zoning for many years, passed away in his sleep this morning. I'm just going to read a couple things. In 1973, while Director of Human Services for La Manche Manufacturing Company, Wally was appointed by Mayor Jimmy Wright to the Westmont Zoning Board of Appeals. This is before there was a planning and zoning. From 1987 to 95, Wally served as chair of the Westmont Zoning Board of Appeals. In 1995, the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals were combined to create the Planning and Zoning Commission. Wally served as the secretary for the Planning and Zoning Commission from 1995 to present. His leadership and counsel to his numerous fellow commissioners over these many years have been cited as being immensely valuable. He also, from 91 to 97, he was a member of Downers Grove Sanitary District Board, and then starting in 92, Wally serves as a trustee of the Sanitary District. He was president of the Sanitary District of Trustees for the past 7 years. Downers Grove Sanitary District serves all of Westmont west of Cass Avenue. So this is one of our public servants for over 50 years in Westmont. So he'll be greatly missed. I know every time we saw him, he was upbeat and in a good mood. So again, I just want to pass on that information. And there'll be more, there might be something on our website with more information. Right now, we don't have any information about any services. One more item, Dementia-Friendly Westmont Memory Cafe. The next event will be January the 15th on a Monday, 1 to 2. This is a social gathering of individuals living with dementia and their care partners. More information can be found on the library website. Clerk Simsky.
I just have village offices will be closed January 15th and February 19th. So just keep that on your calendar.
Thank you. Trustee Little, Administration Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We had our Administration Finance Committee meeting this afternoon at 4:30 right here, and we had a waste RFP that went out, and we had formal presentations made to us tonight by SBC Waste Solutions and Flood Brothers. This took up most of the hour, or hour and a half. So we didn't have a lot of time to discuss a whole lot of other things, but we did have a quick discussion regarding the migrant situation, and wanted to let the public know that we're actively working in conjunction with DuPage County, and we already have a plan in place, and until things become more active, we will trust these people, we will treat these people with respect, and leave it up to the professionals to handle it. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Trustee Nero, Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple items. Our next Public Works Committee meeting will be March 21st, 4:30, right here at Village Hall. And then just a friendly reminder with the big storm coming in a couple days, snow removal and operations. We have published several news releases on the village websites as it relates to recent weather conditions. Please check it out regarding snowplow operations, warming centers, and how to prevent frozen pipes and more. Residents are reminded to drive carefully and not to park on the street until snow removal operations are completed. And a special thanks to all those that are involved in the snow removal operations. I know we hear it a lot, but they do a great job. And it's super important. And it was funny, over the past few days, I finally got one complaint about they heard them too frequently. They thought that it was wasteful. And I just kind of laughed, and, and that person didn't drive or whatever, and wasn't affecting them. But the fact is that you need the roads safe. And it's public safety #1, and they do a tremendous job, so we appreciate all their efforts. We will have a special meeting for the village's capital improvement program on February 22nd. That's at 4:30 PM right here at Village Hall, so stay tuned for that. And then condolences to the Van Buren family, and that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
And just to add to that, this evening, our Public Works is out on Cass Avenue repairing either a water main break or a water leak, and they're working after hours right now, so they'll be working again when the snow hits. So thank them for that. Trustee Simonovich, Police Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. The next meeting for the Police Public Safety Committee will be on January 25th at 4:30 PM here in this room. The Police Department wants to remind everyone to do their 9 PM routine. That is the 9 o'clock nightly check of securing your car, locking the garage, check your mail, and lock your house to keep everyone safe. And I just want to echo the comments from Trustee Nero. It really is heroes work from Public Works, and I know it's going to continue this weekend. So in advance, my appreciation.
Thank you. Trustee Brady, Community Development.
First of all, regarding the Westmont Chamber of Commerce, the annual Winter Ball is scheduled for January 20th at the Hilton Hotel. Tomorrow is the deadline for tickets. If there are any questions, call the Westmont Chamber of Commerce. Also, the Citizen of the Year nominations are due early March. And also, there's an Educational Fund Foundation, the same, and also a new scholarship regarding the public safety is also being submitted. Will be ready by, deadline is March 8th. And any question, to call the Westmont Chamber of Commerce. And on a lighter note, the lunar year in the Oriental China, in 24, it's the Dragon Time of Shine, a symbol of luck, strength, and prosperity.
That's good to know. Thank you. Trustee Johanna Guzzo, Fire Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next Fire Public Safety Committee meeting is March 7th at 4:30 here in Village Hall. Everyone is invited to attend. And I am very happy to report that this year we did keep our fire wreaths red. For those of you who aren't aware of the program, both fire stations had a wreath that had red bulbs on it. If there was a fire that was caused by decorations, a red bulb was removed and a white bulb was placed in there, and I am very happy to report, thank you everyone for keeping those wreaths red. The next Citizens Fire Academy, sign up is open for this year's academy. This is a 5-week course starting April 11th. More information and sign up is on the village website. And shoveling around our hydrants. Residents are reminded to help the fire department by shoveling a 3-foot clearance around their local hydrants. So please, if everybody could get out and do that. And again, I also want to say too, snow removal has been great. I know that we're supposed to have quite a storm tomorrow, so I want to thank you not only for Public Works, but all of our public safety officials and village staff. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Trustee Barker, Environmental Improvement Committee and Westmont First Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I wanted to offer condolences to the Van Buren family. His service to the community, as we know, is incredible. As far as the Environmental Improvement Committee, we had a meeting here on Monday night, and we had gone over a few things. We had a presentation from Public Works, Virgil Viscuso
Not
and
the only
Randy
one.
Tuccio attended the meeting, and they provided us an update on lighting fixtures with the dark sky component to them that we're looking at for our community. The EIC is also looking into their setting their goals for 2024. And, we have a long list of about 40 things we wish we could do, but the reality is we'll boil that down to 4 or 5 things that we can carry out with success. But a great list of goals, a great group of people, and there'll be more to come there. And I'll make everybody here and everybody in the community aware of those things that we're going to tackle in 2024. The Holiday Lights Recycling, the collection boxes for the Holiday Lights Recycling Program continue at the Westmont Library and the Johannic Fire Station. That ends on January 31st. And then smart salt use, the village has just posted information on the website regarding smart salt use as it pertains to ice and snow on the walkways and driveways. Chloride in the waterways is harmful to the plants and wildlife, so people are reminded not to oversalt their sidewalks and driveways. And as chairman of the committee, they taught me that that stays in our waterways. It doesn't go away, so if it gets in there, it stays there. And then lastly, talking about salt and snow, I'd like to remind everybody, if you're out there shoveling your snow, pace yourself, because it's going to be heavy. Thank you, Clerk Shimsky. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
one quick mention. I forgot to mention that the Park District Winter Beer Fest will be held in Ty Warner Park on February the 17th. For ticket information, visit the Park District website.
Thank you. Must be because there's a lot of Park District items later on the agenda that came back to you. Moving on, items to be removed from the consent agenda. Does any board see anything they'd like removed? Then I'd ask Manager May to please read.
Thank you. First, as always, we start with Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held December 14th, 2023. We did not have a meeting on the 28th, so we have two finance ordinances on the agenda tonight. Finance ordinance number 18, in the amount of $2,188,274.59. Then finance ordinance number 19, $2,529,755.50. There are three purchase orders. First one is CUSD 201. This is a annual TIF payment for the Central Business District TIF, and this one purchase order is $188,909.03, and this is also on the finance ordinance as a simultaneous payment. Next is Tyler Technologies, $81,938.72. This is the ERP licensing, the Enterprise Resource Program, licensing and support for 2024. This too is a simultaneous payment on the finance ordinance. Then there's Acres Enterprise. This is for the cyclic tree, parkway tree pruning, or cyclic if you prefer. This is the annual program. This is just the purchase order encumbering that money, but you have it on the agenda later to actually approve the agreement. This is in the amount of $36,832.50. So those three purchase orders together with finance ordinance number 18 and 19 all total $5,025,710.34. And that's the consent agenda this evening.
Do I have a motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve is read. Little?
Motion made second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. Move.
Excuse me,
Oh,
there's six of us.
I'm sorry. I kind of squeezed you out there. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I
Yes.
assume yes.
that's all right.
Can you get the hint?
Don't let you vote now.
Sorry about that.
No
We'll move on to new business A, residential lot variance. 246 North Washington Street. Board to consider an ordinance approving a request from Perdap Nayak regarding the property located at 246 North Washington Street for the following. 1, a zoning ordinance variance request to the required lot width in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. 2, a zoning ordinance variance request to the required lot area in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. And 3, a zoning ordinance variance request to the required front yard setback in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. And we've got Senior Planner Williams.
Thank you, Board. So 246 North Washington Street is kind of a convoluted case that we had. The property was improperly subdivided in 1988 through a plat of assessment at the time, and subsequently a single-family home was constructed in 1990 with permits, leaving a vacant lot in between two lots at the time. So we've asked the owner of 246 North Washington to come in to get the proper variations. The three variations are for the required lot width, which is substandard, the required lot area, which is substandard, and then also a front yard setback variance to 26 feet. The petitioner is here to answer any questions as well, and the commission did unanimously approve this variance request.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Simonovich?
Motion been made and second. Comments, questions? Anybody?
There's no new construction, right? It's just cleaning up the plat?
Currently, yes, they do plan on constructing a single-family home
Sure.
and getting proper permits.
Mayor,
Yes.
I looked at that lot today, and in this particular case, I feel like the planning and zoning committee got it wrong. The lot is narrow. The lots are diagonal on the property. This particular parcel would build a home that would impede in some way because of the setbacks and the width of the lot itself. It's not proper, it's too narrow. And I don't think we're doing the right thing on behalf of the resident that owns that corner property, and not knowing, if we vote to make this a buildable lot, we have no idea what's going to be built there. And not knowing that bothers me, because it can come in, if I had that piece of information, it may help, but I don't see anything in my mind that would fit there and be right. And it's you just said, it's an odd property in three different ways. There's just too much there, and not knowing what could be built there. I have a real problem with it, and I would urge the board not to support it.
On the, I think we discussed this before, this satisfies the building, if they come now with a plan, that doesn't have to come back to us. That can go, as long as they,
So, yes, if approved, they could go to permitting at that point, after approval of those variances, as long as every other bulk standard is attained by them. I will say they did provide a plat showing where the building would go, and that would comply with the current bulk standards, other than the front yard setback variance they'd be requesting.
What about the side yard on the north side near the
So,
fence?
Yeah, that fence is technically on this property. So that fence was permitted a long time ago, when it was likely a part of that property to the north. And then the fence hasn't changed since, I believe, the 80s. The owner was at the meeting, at the planning and zoning meeting. He is aware that he is not the owner of that piece of property. And he did not speak at that time.
So would he have to move his fence?
I believe it would be up to the owner of the current owner of that property.
Yeah,
And the current owner is here if you have questions for him.
yeah, it's just, to me, there's too many things wrong with it. There's just too many things wrong with it to try to, jam a house in there. And that's what it felt like to me. I don't know if the rest of the board saw the property. What it looks like, you would be hammering a square peg into a round hole. So,
Just a question, maybe for our attorney, is if this does get denied, does it allow the petitioner to still come back maybe with some renderings or some actual drawings on what the potential home's gonna look like as well, and where it's gonna sit and all that sort of stuff? Or does that mean it's dead forever?
It's dead for the immediate future. I've got to check if a variance is denied, I don't know if you can reapply for that same variance or you have to wait a 1-year period. I'd have to check our ordinance. But certainly, if there is a 1-year waiting period, they could come back with more information. I do believe that the current owner is the one who created this lot. So on one hand, you know, if you find that kind of did this to himself, that would be reasonable, but you'd also have to look at whether building a house on this size lot fits the character of the area, whether the front yard setback is consistent with other front yard setbacks in the area, et cetera. I believe the front yard setback is consistent with the adjacent house.
To the south, yes.
And I'm not familiar with the character of the area. That's something you guys would have to decide. If you deny all the variances, you're essentially saying this is a completely unbuildable lot and has no, taking away the economic value of this property for the property owner.
So if it was done originally by subdivision instead of an assessment plat, it would still be laid out like it is now, and they'd be able to build in this vacant lot normally. It's just that it wasn't subdivided, I don't know if it's improperly, but it wasn't, it was done by assessment plat, not by subdivision.
They'd be
So
able,
it's like one lot now, and you're saying there's already one structure on this one lot.
they'd be able to build on it with the variances.
The variances are for the existing home. Is that correct?
It's for, so there's an existing
Proposed
home
one?
to the south, it'd be for the proposed home and the lot itself.
Thank you.
Then the other, the other piece is the resolution between the neighbor with his fence. I don't know how long he's been there, and it's, you said he's been there, the fence has been there for years and years and years. Now we're creating a situation where we've got no resolution there. If there was a resolution and the neighbor said, I'm fine with it, I'd be fine with it. But
But you said he had the opportunity to speak at planning and zoning and did not?
Yeah, correct. He did come to the meeting. He was in the audience. I don't remember if he came up and spoke directly, just jogging back in my memory. But he's aware.
Yeah.
He did call prior and got some questions answered by staff as well.
My only other comment would be just on the materials we've been provided, it looks as though the lot to the south is the same in terms of shape and size, and there is a house on that lot currently. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
same person.
I'm sorry.
It's the same person.
Yeah, he previously owned the property.
Right.
At that time, it was constructed.
He built the first house that didn't follow subdivision, and now he wants to build another house on the other property that's still vacant, and it's a substandard piece of property. So there's two wrongs right there.
Do we have a picture of the plat?
Yes, I did bring one. I can do it on the overhead projector.
Thank you.
If Brian heard it.
And then, I would feel better if I knew what the house was gonna be, not just a diagram on this.
Yeah.
Are we holding them to that? What is that?
I think it depends on how the ordinance is written, if I'm correct.
Has staff seen any plans for the house?
This is as much as we've seen.
That's what you've
yeah,
seen?
And what was provided to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
The ordinance doesn't specify anything other than approving the variances that are requested, so that results in a buildable footprint within the required setbacks, including if you granted the 25-foot front yard setback. And then there's also the 40% lot coverage requirement,
It'd be 35%.
35% that he'd have to comply with. So the builder, with help of staff, would have to figure out what the buildable footprint is within the setbacks and complying with the lot coverage, and that's the size of the house that he could build.
And we don't know if that drawing is correct then.
No.
Yeah, so,
Would it be a fair approach, John, if, obviously there's some questions still, and maybe give us some time to dig into a little bit more and learn a little bit more about maybe the site, and maybe we could talk to the applicant about some of the conceptual drawings, or just to kind of understand it a little bit more, allow us maybe to all go check the area out. I don't know. I just respect, Trustee Barker went there on site. We've kind of always supported each other in those situations, and I trust his judgment. I just kind of feel like I want to learn a little bit more, I guess, is my honest reaction.
Yeah, if you think you need more information, about this and whether, there's a sufficient hardship for the variances. Trustee can request a postponement. And the practice of the board is when it's, good faith request, that it's honored by the board. Also, I believe is the applicant here tonight?
Yes, Mr. Nyack is here.
You can either ask questions tonight, or you can say, here's a list of things I'd like for the next meeting, and request that he comes back.
To that, I would like to say that I would like some time to compile those questions, but then I'm happy with staff working through it. I said where I thought the problems were based on what our requirements are, and there's just too many variations, and there's an unknown, and then there's a neighbor with a fence issue that needs to be resolved. So there's a lot of things in the way that I think we need more information on, especially for me to vote yes. I'm happy to make a motion to postpone it. Maybe that works. I would say this. I'd rather say this. I'd rather postpone it than deny it.
Yeah.
In fairness to the applicant. But if you look at it, it does not feel right at all.
Before we make that motion, let's ask the applicant for it.
I owned that 120 feet lot, and then I subdivided it at the county level. Then I applied for a permit to build on the south lot the house. And the city, we went to the planning, and they approved it and took it. So we did not violate any law. We did go to the city of Westmont, and they approved it. And this particular lot now is bigger than the other lot. And when you wanted to build now, I think the market was not good and many other things. But bottom line is that the present lot that we are asking for the variance is bigger than the south lot, on which we are allowed to build the single-family home. And after several discussions with the planning and zoning, we gave them the footprint of the house, and it also met all the requirements of the as needed. And Mr. Scott Williams can address if you got any further questions. And all you are asking for a variance. And generally, when a house, and the person who you're talking about the fence, he was here. I did talk to him. And I also met his wife the other day. Well, I was there because I planned to take down the fence. And so he said, fine. So there is no problem on the fences. There is no problem also on constructing a house on which we gave a sketch to the planning and zoning, and they reviewed. We corrected 3 different times, and we had a professional engineer as well as a survey, new survey. This is not done on the old survey, which meets all the requirements of the planning and zoning as well as of the village. And further questions, maybe he can clarify.
Yeah, the fence
you.
approaches either way,
Thank you.
whether it's built on or not.
Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none now, Trustee Barker, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, and I would like to comment, from this drawing or this image that's in front of me, it looks like the first house is too close. There's no side yard on the south side. So however that happened and whoever did whatever to make that happen, it's not correct. It's not, that appears to be a irregular lot.
The existing home.
The existing home appears to be irregular, and this appears to be another irregular opportunity. And then as far as the agreement with the neighbor and the neighbor's okay with it, I mean, I believe you, but then again, I don't have anything to support that.
The neighbor was in the last meeting,
I understand.
and he said he has got no questions.
He testified to that.
Huh?
He testified to that?
Yes, Mr. William will tell you. He was here, he addressed here,
Yeah. So,
in this very room.
okay.
And
So-
then one more thing is that, sir, I just want to beg your forgiveness that we didn't, we subdivided the lot, and we came, at that time, the city, I don't know what the story was, but I remember the city accepted our prior subdivisions and gave us the permit and we built a home. So we did not did any irregularities so the city approved that at that time and we built the house. And we are presently asking just for variance. And we will be providing the detailed drawing when we build the construction. We're not asking for any construction permit now. If at a later date we decide that, hey, presently we have presented to you a 1,409 square foot footprint of the house. Maybe when I submit the detailed plans, maybe it will come down to 1,100. We do not, but I did give the present footprint, so we're not asking for a application for permit to build. We're just asking for the variance approval. I have been paying taxes for the last 30 years. Please consider me, I'm very, very loyal taxpayer of the community.
Yeah.
And so all I'm trying to say, this is not the end of it. We will be giving detailed drawing when you go for construction. So we are only asking for variance right now. 2, the neighbor has no issues. And 3, we have met all the other requirements. And only thing it will depend when you go to build the detailed drawings, then you can say, hey, this is not right. Fix this like this. And which will be community planning and zoning commission. We are not violating any of the rules. We cannot construct unless the city approves our drawings, and which we did at the last time. And at that time, the city never asked us, hey, if this is a substandard lot, you have to go through all this planning. They said, no, this is fine. Now, after being a 30-year taxpayer and a loyal taxpayer for all these years, all I'm requesting you to approve the variance and let the, when we provide the city with the detailed diagram, etc., as they require, we'll have to meet. Otherwise, at that time, you say, hey, this house does not fit, so we cannot give you the permit. That's all I'm asking. We're not asking for a permit to construct. We're only asking for a variance approval today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
So I understand all that, but to me, the view of the lot is unbuildable, right? Because of the number of variances for this. And it has nothing to do with what's going to be built there, but we have no idea what that is. It would have helped me to see it on the property in the right proportion, and then know that there wasn't an issue with the neighbor on the north with the fence, which appears to be messy. I didn't see that testimony. I did watch part of the P&Z, but I don't have that information. I don't have that knowledge that the guy is okay with it, other than this testimony here. So I'm asking still, not that we vote no, but that we do postpone it. And I'll take John's opinion on this, whether it should be 2 weeks or 4 weeks. But I would like to have the opportunity to compile some notes, get them to staff, have everybody on the board look at the site and determine for themselves, is it buildable? Because the drawings just didn't do it for me. That's why I drove over there.
So your motion is to
Oh,
postpone to a future meeting?
is it,
Well, he's requesting whether 2 weeks is appropriate or whether 4 weeks is appropriate. Again, I don't know how many, the quantity of the notes and the time it's going to take you to do that, and for staff to review it. 4 weeks might be most appropriate, particularly since I don't think the owner is banging on the door to get his building permits right now.
right?
I think a fair question is, you did say it would help to see what the house will look like on the lot. If there are, let's say, house plans, But I don't know that there are any house plans yet.
So what I would ask, what I would ask Joe if he was available, what could that house be? What's the most it could be on our non-conforming lot, right? And then we'd have an idea that this is it, this is how it encroaches, or does it have to be less than that? And we've had, as a board, we've had numerous people come and say, I'm gonna build this house, this is the plan, but then they come and ask for variances. So we have variances on top of variances, and pretty soon we have something. So I'm asking for a little more time, more information, and a chance to ask staff more questions.
So your motion is supposed to postpone till 4 weeks or second meeting?
4 weeks, that's more than enough time. I'll do my questions quickly for staff, and I hope that the 4 weeks is not a hardship for the applicant, and I hope that the board takes a good look at this.
And I think a relevant consideration would be, are there other lots of this size in the surrounding area? So would this fit the character of the area, or is this kind of an albatross?
Got it.
Right, thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and seconded to postpone this to a future meeting 4 weeks from now.
So it's Bruce.
Bruce and trustee Nero. Any additional comment? 4 weeks. I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Yeah, I have one more point to mention regarding the lot. I did provide this planning zoning that several lots in the division are much less than mine and houses on it.
And that's why
So
we're postponing.
several,
Yeah.
I have given them I have given to the planning
Yeah.
all those information, so it meets the conformity of the area. Okay, I don't.
Thank you, and then that's why he's postponing it, so we could get all that information and look at it. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
The motion passes, it's postponed till 4 weeks from tonight. New business B, rezoning subdivision and residential variances for 329 East 56th Street. Board to consider ordinance approving request from Arcad Development LLC regarding the property at
29.
329 East 56th Street for the following. 1, a map amendment to rezone from R1 Single Family Detached Residence District to R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. 2, zoning ordinance variance to allow for the construction of new homes within a required front yard setback in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. 3, Westmont Land Development Ordinance variance to allow the establishment of 2 lots of a substandard lot depth. And 4, preliminary and final plat of subdivision to subdivide 1 lot into 2 lots. Senior Planner Williams.
Thank you, Board. So if you remember, you may remember this property. It used to have an old house on it that was set to be demolished. I believe it was also a code case at the time. The developer, Arcad, is requesting to rezone it from its current rezoning of R1 to R3 to subdivide the property into 2, and for 2 variances for the construction of the 2 new single-family homes on those properties. At the meeting for planning and zoning, it was recommended for approval at the previous planning and zoning meeting in December. The developer is here to answer any questions you may have, and I do have copies of the subdivision if you want me to put on the overhead at all.
Was it unanimous at P and Z, or was it?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and this developer also tore down the building, right?
Correct, yes. Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
So the developer's not here tonight?
He is here tonight, sorry.
Well, first of all, it was a single-family home at one time. It was really in bad shape. The trees were higher than the roof of the house. So I saw that personally a few years ago. The demolishing took longer than normal. Pardon me?
Well, actually, what happened, this house was declared as uninhabitable by the village, in part due to response, or complaints by surrounding neighbors, particularly those in Fairfield 4 subdivision. There was a hole in the roof. If there was
Right.
junk and debris everywhere, the village filed a lawsuit to have court authority to demolish it, and a developer stepped in and said, we'll buy the property and demolish it to resolve your lawsuit and prevent the village from having to expend those funds. And they immediately got a demolition permit and knocked it down, cleared the lot,
Right.
solved the problem that the neighbors were complaining of. So that part of it is a good outcome.
Okay, so we're going now from a single lot with one home now into a double lot, and that's going to decrease the green space, because west of you, you have a wetland area there. I don't know how it's going to affect it all, but it's less green space. I don't know why the developer could not put up a single-family home there versus putting up two homes, to balance out what's going on the cul-de-sac. The other homes are, be the same size. So, this is my opinion.
Good opportunity to bring, before we have any additional questions, the petitioner up to the podium.
Yes. Demetrius.
So the reason to subdivide it from one lots to two lots is it matches the size, the area, the square footage of all the houses that are all around in the area.
It's perfect.
Also, we looked at it and to face 56th Street, it wouldn't really have been attractive, so we decided to orient them so where both lots face Ryan Court, which would make it more attractive
Okay.
to look
Yeah.
at.
They face east, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We felt like, and we did a numerous analysis with our architect to see what would be the best use of the space and for the court and for the area. So the square footage of each lot matches the square footage of the lots that are all around the cul-de-sac for the court.
And again, when you come in with building permit, you're going to have to satisfy all the requirements.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, this matches the surrounding area, lot
Correct.
size and stuff.
Correct. Correct, Scott, right? You can attest to it.
Do I have a
So we're just
motion?
asking for variances, the same setbacks, the same lot size, the same zoning, actually.
Bruce?
You want the motion, Mayor?
Yes, I want the motion to either approve or deny.
Okay, well,
Approve.
Make the motion in the affirmative.
Yeah, yeah. Motion to approve as presented? Anybody?
Motion to approve as presented, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion been made second on the question. Trustee Barker?
yeah, thank you. This particular property, and again, I was over there today, looking at the area. I understand what they're trying to do, and I guess this question would be for staff, first question that I would have. Based on the information that we received, there is no backyard. I'd like to know what the proposed back lot would be, backyard. The verbiage said there'd be essentially no backyard.
Yes.
Uh,
So I'm going to put this over the overhead just so everybody can see it. This is the preliminary plan for their houses and lots. That's lot one, or lot one and lot two.
Give me a very little backyard.
So the backyards technically are here and here.
Yeah, what is that distance, do you know?
I
Wetland.
believe it's 15 feet. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's 15.
It's like 14.97 or something, 15 feet.
Okay, so,
Oh, wetland, this way.
so less than 15 feet. And then the other question is, I noticed the horizontal bars there, is that those are detention areas, and then there's the plan is to build over the top of that with decking?
Demetrius out.
Well, it would, so it's to compensate for stormwater, so it's underground pipes, and then it would be covered up, so it would be flat on, so essentially,
So that's piping, that's not decking.
no, that's not decking, this would be buried under the ground to compensate to store that water.
Right, okay, so
No,
that's,
that's not decking, that would be, actually, essentially, you have to look at this as if it's two corner lots, so you really don't have a backyard, but you have side yards.
okay, so where's the side yard then?
The side yards would be,
Where those pipes are?
yeah, this would be all of the side yard, and this would be all.
Is that recessed detention area though?
No.
It's level?
Correct.
Okay, so it's a level ground.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the questions on the development there. And again, when you just made the statement that it matches the existing, I did see part of that presentation at Planning and Zoning. The existing is, when you say it matches, it more matches the homes across the street, right, to the
I'm
north.
talking about the size of the lot, the
Yeah,
setbacks.
And the setbacks and the house.
Correct.
Because there was somebody that stated that, you know, the neighbors across the street, and there was a note that there was opposition to this development. But the neighbors across the street, I think some of them objected because it would be identified as being part of their development because of the orientation and the setback and all of that. So a little bit of problematic there. And again, it's taking a piece of property that's unique and, you know, trying to maximize it. I understand trying to maximize it. But then, because I had issues with it, I did want to advocate for green space, so I reached out to the Park District, and I would like to recommend, again, that we just postpone this, so the village could talk or discuss or give the Park District an opportunity to look at this parcel as adjacency to the park. And it's my belief that a park in that neighborhood, you know, a park in that neighborhood, Wilderness Park is there, but a larger park in that neighborhood would benefit the residents of Westmont in a better way. So again, that's my thought. I would, you know, make that recommendation that we
I
postpone
believe there's
this.
a park just to the west of this, right? Yeah, right?
Pardon me?
There's a large park just to the west of this?
That's what I'm talking about. You're adjacent to that. There's one home between that property and the park.
Okay. And I think it's occupied, right? I mean,
The home is occupied, but we've done that, you know, time and time again in assembling property to create parks in neighborhoods. It's you know, kind of a common practice. So I'm recommending that we give the Park District an opportunity to discuss that. That's, but again, I would look for a 4-week postponement on this topic.
Well, we already have a motion on. Can we rescind the motion and?
A motion to postpone trumps a pending motion to approve, just like a motion to amend also trumps it. So you'd have to consider the motion to postpone first. Going back to my earlier comments, if a trustee requests a good faith postponement to get more information, typically from the applicant or from, you know, let's say an objecting neighbor who can't make the meeting, those are routinely granted. My concern here, and I told Trustee Barker this, is, to my knowledge, this property is not part of any Park District plan. They don't have any money appropriated to purchase this property. They haven't had any negotiations with the owner, who's here before you, about price. You know, let's say the Park District comes back in 2 weeks and says, yeah, we're interested in this, but it might take us 2 to 3 years to go through the state grant process to come up with funds or fit this into our schedule of property acquisition. What you're basically doing is punishing this property owner and depriving him of the economic value of his property. So I think 2 weeks would be, you know, appropriate if the board's inclined, but it's not the normal reason why items are postponed, to see if there can be some future negotiations with the park.
Yeah, so green space is always going away, right? And here's an opportunity. Mayor, I know you understand parks pretty well, been through it once or twice.
Never refuse green space. I
Right.
think, and Executive Director Fleck is in the audience, that it's also on the border of Westmont and Clarendon Hills, and there's a park right around the corner. I don't know if it doesn't connect to the Clarendon Hills Park, does it?
And what I'm asking really is to take the 2 weeks,
Okay.
allow the parties to have that conversation to see if it's something that has merit. I was on the park, full disclosure, I was on the park board for a period of time, and I'm sensitive to the idea of trying to capture some green space in our town,
Anywhere.
anywhere. Thank you, Mayor, for that. But that's what I'm asking, 2 weeks to see if there's a way to facilitate something.
Yeah. And by then, Executive Director Fleck could get the money and tell us, he's sleeping, wake him up.
And I don't want to put him on the spot.
No, I-
I just want to have that dialogue to make sure that we didn't miss an opportunity. That's all.
So your motion would be to postpone for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yes.
Do I have a second?
I just have a question.
Yes.
Well, it's hard to read his drawing, it's so small. What's the difference between the difference? What's the width of the wetland to the building at the property line? How wide is that?
Not too sure. Not too sure I understand the question, or,
Pardon me?
I'm not too, I don't understand the
Okay,
question.
from the rear of the building, the west side to the property line of the wetland, how wide is that? What kind of a yard would they have?
I mean, there isn't wetlands on this property. There's adjacent.
To the west, there's a
To
single-family
the west and
home.
to the back, I think there are some wetlands. I don't think that it's close in proximity to
Are you talking
this
about
lot.
here?
Yeah, right.
But he's saying this is your yard over here.
Oh, I see, okay.
It's more on the side than the back.
Oh, I see, the side, okay.
Yeah, because these are the underground pipes.
Okay, I thought it was turned around.
Yeah, I think it's more
Okay.
side.
Yeah, it's more of a side yard. It's kind of, you have to look at this as it's kind of like two corner lots. So as a traditional corner lot has side yards as opposed to rear yards. So both of these
Thank you.
lots have side yards.
Do I have a second to postpone for 2 weeks?
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made and second to postpone this to the next meeting, 2 weeks from now. Any additional comments? You got to go to the podium and state your name, even though we know who you are. Well, you raised your hand really nice.
My hand is up. Stephen Fleck, just a resident. I only know about this one because this is a piece of parcel that's been on for over a year now. Not just with his purchase, but I was even at the planning and zoning last time when the residents were all here, but I don't know if any of them are here from Fairfield. Voiced their opinions. They were here for years knocking on your doors saying, cut the grass, trim the trees, do something, do something, do something. You now have a developer that's come in who has put in money, cleaned up the mess, taken away, as the attorney has said, the problem of the municipal violations and this and that. We all know the house was uninhabitable. There was, I think, a son that had the property. This has gone on and on and on. The mess is now cleaned up. He's not taking really, everything that's gone through planning and zoning has been approved. And really what he's doing is he's finally finishing off that court that's there. This was a very long, narrow piece of property, and he's finishing off what is now, is that Ryan?
Correct.
Ryan Court, and just turning the home sideways. He's putting in water retention. He's still gonna have a yard, it's just a side lot, and as he said, it's really two corner lots just next to each other. He's done his homework, he's put in the money, he's improving the village. I understand what you're saying about green space. Burners Park is a beautiful park right around the corner from it. Very walkable to get to. It's tax revenue that can start coming in. I don't really see, when he's gone through all the processes, why we're delaying something that can move forward, so.
Thank you. The 2 weeks, is it going to drastically affect you?
It's not preferable. I don't completely understand what I can do in the meantime. If this was something that the Park District wanted, they could have approached us, they could have approached years and years ago. I don't understand, but, yeah. I mean, this is something that we came in that was, I know, a hardship for the village, and we came in, and I think within 2 weeks from when we bought it, worked with the village, demoed it, kept it up, and it's just a little discouraging to, get this pushback. But
And again, we appreciate, because you did come in and immediately satisfied. Well, our concern is cleaning up the property and getting it buildable.
Mayor, if I could. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from it, I think it's a strange orientation, but I understand why.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's look at it and see if Westmont's better served with a park.
But even if we approve this, the park could still buy it, right? It'd just be a higher value probably.
It's,
It's
I'm-
currently privately owned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been approached by the park or anyone to purchase it, so I don't understand.
what I'm saying is, if we could postpone it for 2 weeks, some of that conversation could happen. They could evaluate it. I mean, I talked to Director Fleck this morning, and as you know, he's got a lot of things on his plate tonight. So in fairness to him, let him talk to his board and see what they think before the opportunity's gone forever, right?
No, I don't think the opportunity's gone forever. They can purchase this after. I don't.
After the homes are built?
No, after the
Well,
approval,
Oh, that's,
before it's built.
I don't know, that's just, I'm making the motion, I hope I have the support, and I hope the 2 weeks is acceptable.
Yeah, that's what I asked. If 2 weeks from now, we're not saying no, we just want some,
Sure, it's acceptable.
okay. Any other comments? The motion, yes.
I'm sorry, I'm Nick Gutavis. The owner of the lot, and I'd like to build on it. I just want to point out, if it's okay with everyone, that there is a house in between. So, let's see, is there a way to turn on?
We recognize it, that's all right.
Yeah, I think we know the assemblage, if it's going to be a big park, probably that would have to be part of it, especially if they're going to apply for
Yes.
funding.
And he needs to speak into the microphone.
Oh, speak in the microphone right here. There you
Yes,
go.
I'm Nick Gutavis. I'm the owner of the lot, and I'd like to build one of the houses on it. There is a house to the right of it, and that's owned by Lynn, and I've spoken with her. She has she doesn't want to sell her property anytime in the future. And I don't think it's possible for the Park District to purchase it just because it's not contiguous property. So, yeah, if you guys would, the board would please allow me to build on it without delays, I'd appreciate it. Yeah.
The motion now to vote on is to postpone for 2 weeks. And we've had a motion and second. I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Brady,
Yes.
trustee Simonovich, and trustee Little.
No.
The motion passes 2 weeks from tonight. We'll be back on the agenda. Thank you. New business C, special use and B1 development permit, 136 North Cass Avenue, Happy Cat Grooming. Board to consider ordinance approving request from Christine Haldeman regarding the property located at 136 North Cass Avenue for the following. 1, special use permit for animal grooming business in the B1 Limited Business District, and 2, a B1 development permit. And I've got our senior planner, Williams.
Thank you, Board. So this property, 136 North Cass Avenue, is in our B1 district right downtown. It used to be an optometrist office. Dr. Luckhart owned the building at the time, and I believe the daughter owns it now. So the petitioner is requesting the special use permit for an animal grooming business. Specifically, the business is specifically tied to feline long hair grooming is the specialty, and a focus on cats. They may also have other animals coming in, such as dogs. The special use permit is required due to the space being larger than 1,000 square feet. The operations of the business are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and then some appointments on Sunday, with the anticipated number of employees being 2 to 3. They're also requesting the B1 permit along with it, as it is in the B1 downtown district. And then at the previous planning and zoning meeting on December 13th, the commissioner recommended approval of this item with 1 no vote. The petitioner is here to answer any questions as well.
Would they like to come? Imagine it's you, so you can come up there. By yourself, no.
I'm Chrissy. I own Happy Cat Grooming. Yeah, I've owned it for 7 years. I was a mobile groomer and my van was totaled recently, and now I'm looking to move to Westmont. I love Westmont. I lived there for 17 years, so it'd be really nice to come back and come home.
Well, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little.
Question.
Second, Nero.
Motion made, second question.
Question, don't second
Yeah.
it.
No, he already seconded your
Question,
question.
She takes care of my cat. My cat's that person to deal with, and she does a great job. And tell us also, you had a mobile unit also. They had a little problem with that? Serious problem?
I had, yes, it was totaled. I was hit on Route 53 and 75th Street, almost head on. And I had not fully paid off that new vehicle yet. And I'd had many problems with the truck. So that's part of why I was starting to look to, as you know, because I had a lot of problems with those trucks. We talked about them. And, yeah, so now I'm like looking to have a brick and mortar place. And yeah, Westmont, when the opportunity came up, it was just amazing. So very excited if I could be a part of downtown.
So you plan also in purchasing property?
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Now, right now, it's a dormant property. It'll be a, plus for Westmont. And it's also in a comprehensive plan to have your type of business. So I'd like to see you move into Westmont. Thank you.
Thank you.
In full disclosure, trustee Brady already
Make a
said
motion?
he's used, his motion's been made and seconded.
Did he recuse himself, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Just says, in full disclosure, he said he used the service before, so.
You better pass it or not. I mean,
Mayor?
Made and seconded,
I was gonna
yes.
ask another question. Do you have any improvements planned for the space? I'm having been in the Vision building there.
Yes,
It needs some work.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I would have to redo the inside. I'm not planning on doing like a lot of like walls, anything like crazy like that. Like the outside would stay the same. I just need to make it waterproof floor and put my size sinks and things like that. Yeah.
One more suggestion. Since you're new in Westmont, people don't realize what you do. It's something we take for granted. I strongly suggest you join the Chamber of Commerce and sell yourself, let people know what you do in Westmont.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Show them how I deal with difficult prints.
And since you're purchasing the building, there's apartment upstairs or two?
There is an apartment upstairs, so probably eventually I would like to have a resident up there. I mean, there's just so much I have to do. So my initial thing would be just to get in and establish my business.
And I'm sure you're familiar with requirements once you start doing, I know your realtor standing next to you there.
He is.
Is very aware of
He's
what
educated.
triggers happen. Oh.
She's all aware of it. She also understands that building actually has a lot of history for
Yes.
those that don't know it. The architect of that building was the architect of the first McDonald's. So if you ever notice the front of that, it's got
That's
this,
what it looks like.
the same
did you
angles
say
on the
that?
front.
Yeah, so I don't want to change
But
that.
as soon as we put the sign in the window, she called, she said, I want that building. So she's done her homework, she's met with planning, zoning, building department, things she needs to do, things she's gonna be looking at, crossing bridges when she wants to do something with the upstairs. She's definitely done her homework, and she's really looking to be part of the town.
See no other questions? Trustee Barton?
Just like to comment, the question that the mayor raised, right? The triggers and all of that. I'm so happy that you come to the podium and you've done your homework.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
It's so nerve-wracking to be up here. I'm
Hopefully-
like, I'm used to animals every day, not people.
Well, hopefully staff was helpful and everything.
Oh, my gosh, absolutely. And that's why.
Cats are tougher than us, come on.
Very true. I have some scars.
On another note, real quick, since everybody was thanking Public Works, part of the reason I'm not dressed up is we're getting water out of our basement too. They have been over there digging that hole in that cold, and that is a job I would never want. Those guys are out there, they'll be out there for hours probably digging that. So they're helping all the businesses out because we're all getting water from it.
I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. Good luck. Welcome.
Congrats.
Welcome.
Great. Did you want to speak? All right, good.
She does
I didn't know
Harold's,
it, yeah.
she does Harold's cat too, right?
What is this now?
We've got 5 items. I just wonder, we've got one person here for a future agenda item. Do we want to put that, how long, Manager May, if I skip to the grade separated pedestrian crossing, is that the one that we have a guest here?
Well, that's a presentation.
Oh, so we'll stay in.
Should just stay in order.
All right, we'll stay in order. I'm okay to move it up. All right,
Your choice,
let's-
sir.
Yeah, Bob can wait.
I like that part.
He was a little late, I think.
I'm going to move up the agenda item J, the grade separated pedestrian crossing, recommended alternative. Board to consider resolution supporting alternative 3A as identified by the grade separated pedestrian crossing alternative analyzed study. And I'd ask Director Reese to come up to the podium.
Good evening. On November 3rd, 2022, the Village Board authorized a grade-separated pedestrian crossings alternative analysis for the pedestrian crossing out here by the metro station. And the last year, we've been working on this. Beth McCluskey from Two Islands here to present the findings. And just to put a little context around this, we would like to apply for an ICC grant to construct the grade separated structure. And part of that is examining the alternatives analysis and recommending an alternative, which will strengthen our application for funding. So with that, I'll turn it over to Beth to give a short presentation.
Thanks. And I can make this a little abbreviated. So good evening, I'm Beth McCluskey with Two Island, and I'm here tonight just to talk about the grade separated pedestrian crossing alternatives analysis study. Like Amy talked about, tonight's goal is really to get an endorsed alternative to include in the ICC grant for construction. There we go. So quickly, our agenda, I would like to briefly walk through the components of the overview, the actual alternatives, some of the highlights, and some of the recommendations that get us to the critical next steps to funding the construction of a new crossing. And that's a grant opportunity that's before us and due on Monday on the holiday. Whoops. So pretty quickly, the project purpose and need. We want to the project vision is to rebuild a community connection right out here across the tracks that is safe, that is convenient, that is seamless, and that works in conjunction as a necessary complement to the new station platform project. The alternatives analysis procedure, our process, we look at the purpose and need, data collection and field visit, opportunities, candidate alternatives, and you can see the flow chart there. And it shows our process as well as the evaluation criteria. The evaluation criteria mainly focusing on both the distance and the impacts to the surrounding areas. So this map shows the potential sites. So you have the technical memo with you as well, and that goes into much more detail. But this slide shows the main alternative sites considered and the constraints that are associated with them. So the constraints and the challenges are the structures that are already existing, the drainage, the utilities, and the Metro platform project, because we need to work in conjunction with moving that forward at the same time. But we think there's a lot of opportunities for construction, and I'm going to go through those quickly next. So these opportunities, we have to consider what's best for constructing this grade separated crossing. The entrance is really important. The use of space for parking and for boarding really matters for passengers and for pedestrians. On underpasses, there are some really good construction methods and timing to consider, but there's manageable impacts. And that we've seen similar successes along the BNSF, other communities going into Chicago and out toward Aurora on the BNSF line. With an overpass is an obstruction and there's height challenges, but a bridge structure can easily just be, put in and used. We're going to look specifically at some of those challenges next, though. So initially, we looked at a tunnel and an underpass. And a tunnel, if it was just linear, would be 18 feet deep, given the elevation difference between the ground level and the rail tracks. So linear ramps would be long, but a switchback option would be really manageable. It would shorten the distance, but it would adjust the space necessary. And then we talk about the bridge and the overpass again. So the existing structure that we'd have to clear is 40 feet tall. That's pretty high to be going over to get to the other side. You'd have to have some stairs and some elevator options. And elevators are not just costly to install. I think anyone who's dealt with any sort of building knows that elevators are very expensive for maintenance and repair. And the length of time sometimes it takes to put them back into repair, really it does a disservice sometimes to the public, and we kind of want to avoid that. So this is a very technical slide. Again, we can go through the specifics of it, but it does show that a tunnel and an underpass is evident as a least intrusive alternative. And a switchback, it's varying levels of impact, but there's more options for solutions. And again, the stairs and elevators, the complications are there. Also with the stairs, you have to consider the weather, rain, snow, slips. It's just, no one wants to deal with stairs as much as they would like a ramp to easily walk across. And here's another kind of complicated slide, I'm sorry. The construction estimates, though, are shown here. So from $7 million to $9 million are the rough order of magnitude. And again, the details are small on the slide, but your technical memo has more and enlarged detail on what's included in each one of these estimates. Looking again at location number 3 and alternative 3A, the tunnel and underpass with the switchback ramp, that is at the lowest, at the $7 million mark. So we went through and did a red, gold, and green, and you can see again that the green is on alternative 3A. We did look, this ratings table though, really did look at the distance and the utility impacts the most. So the location for 3A and B is ideal, and it's mostly balanced with impacts to everything else there. And again, we have a summary and that initial map. So you can see location 3, it's just west of Cass Avenue. It's close to the station, it's close to the parking lot, and it's ideal for a tunnel and underpass. Also, the proposed retaining wall and point of egress to the platform will work nicely with Metro's Westmont platform station project. And that's something that this team is also working on right now in the design phases. So we're looking at the recommendation, given the data points that we have seen so far, and we're asking for your endorsement as well. This is the most user-friendly, it's close to the station and parking lot, least obstructive, feasible construction cost and options. And here we have a picture of Western Spring Station, and this is similar to what we envision, maybe on a little different scale, just west of where we're at. We feel the challenges of this design can be solved with multiple options, and it can result in a really long-lasting community improvement.
Can I ask a question, just not to throw you off, but can you describe what switchback, that word's?
So a linear
To me,
ramp.
that's this.
Yes, a switchback. Well, we wouldn't want it to be too many. We're thinking maybe a greater than or equal sign type switchback, not more than that. But versus straight, because straight would be 18 feet down, and it would be really much longer.
Okay.
So it would impact.
The sidewalk ramp, just zigzag up to the grade.
Soldier Field.
Okay, but the pass-through itself,
Not that
just so I'm following you, so the pass-through itself is straight. You can see through it.
Yes.
Okay.
You can
Thank
see through it, so the Western Springs example.
Go back to the
Each
last slide.
side, the road and everything is down at that level, so that is really a very attractive location. But our roads are higher than the tracks, so you have to get from this point of view back up with the sidewalk.
Right, but it's a clear shot through the tunnel.
Yes,
It's a clear
there's no
shot through the
zigzag
tunnel
in
when
the
you're
tunnel.
down there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, no, absolutely not. It would look just like this.
Would this meet ADA requirements?
Yes.
It would, good.
Yes, we would make sure that that was incorporated into the design. It wouldn't move forward without that.
Okay.
Can I move forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a renewed purpose in this recommendation, and that's to identify the construction resources, because that's unfunded at this point. Metra is funding the design. We're working closely with Metra and with the BNSF Railroad to advance the design that is in front of you. We want to make sure that this converges nicely with the platform improvement project that is already underway. And we think that the dual improvements is best for the passengers and the pedestrians. We wouldn't want one to be standing for 5 years before the next one is funded. And there is this opportunity, and the ICC has this Grade Crossing Protection Fund for which they have funded very similar projects. They funded Western Springs. They funded several along the line. Go ahead.
What percent did they fund?
Well, we don't have a percentage per se, but we asked them if, say, $5 million was too much money. And they pointed to several examples where that is the amount.
Okay.
They are looking for, though, stakeholders in the project. So the beauty of this application, going in right now and having this endorsed alternative, is that we can get it into the process. The ICC will wait for us to form the essential partnerships with the other financial stakeholders if we need them for match. We are already at an advantage because Metra is funding the design portion. So if you look at the total cost, design and construction, you're looking between $8.7 and $9 million, and we've already kind of covered the engineering portion of that. So we'll continue to work on that, and even if we get into the program, we may not be funded until 2026, or maybe there will be funding available 2026 and 2027. There's a lot of options to just making sure that we get this in now. So that's the sense of urgency that I'm kind of bringing tonight. And that is, so next steps, formal endorsement, continued priority for all of you to make this something that the village wants to see happen. We're going to continue to coordinate with Metra and BNSF. Again, initial meeting with ICC in December, and encouragement to apply by Monday. And we're going to also make sure that we're continuing the public outreach with you and community input on the concept moving forward. And if there's any other questions I can answer, I'm happy to.
We're looking for a motion to approve a resolution supporting alternate 3A.
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, your own.
Motion made second. Any additional comments?
There's one, Mayor.
Yes.
The $7 million, that's today's number, right?
It is.
So if it gets built 3 years from now, it could be 10, 11, 12, we don't know, right?
We don't. I'm hoping that it's not that much higher, but again, we'll continue to work with other financial partners.
Yeah, it's great
and
work.
And hopefully, we'll get more partners than less, and we would be able to manage whatever that increase would be at the time of construction.
What's the grant match?
There is not a specific match. There is not, it's not an 80-20. It is,
Okay.
It's one that's looked at more wholly. Like I said, if it goes to 9 million, and we've already covered 1.9 just with Metra, and if we should have, say, BNSF or even DuPage mayors and managers or someone else, we can do it incrementally and get to a point where ICC is like, well, you know what, that 60% would be, we can fund 60%, we can fund 70%.
Because of that, or part of that is ICC is going to go through the work and review our stuff.
Yes.
And they're asking the board for buy-in so that you're aware that we're spending $7 million, but not of our, that we're asking for it. So that's the point of the resolution tonight, is so that you're committing to this path.
So one more question. So we're committing to this path. that's wonderful to look for the grant opportunities. But we are not committing at this time to building the thing if there is no grant money available. You know, is it something that we would want to fund 100% of at $10 million? I understand the value, but is that?
That's not what we're doing tonight.
Right.
This is for the purpose, for the ICC to process the grant application. If we don't get the grant, you're not committed.
There's no
Right,
obligation.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's a question.
Yes, oh, the attorney's got a question.
Uh-oh.
I was just curious, did your company do the engineering for Village of Glen Ellen for their underpass?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But we do have a stations contract with Metro, so we do a lot of their stations. Glen Ellen, I do not believe so.
They are doing the platform design that Metro is doing now too, so it's no coincidence that we're using them for this preliminary study.
Trustee Barker.
I'm sorry. So they're doing the platform design off topic, but I chair the Environmental Improvement Committee. And we have a good relationship, and that design is proceeding properly, right? I understand that they're placing 42 lights over there, light fixtures, and we brought it up on Monday night that we don't know if the 42 lights are needed. So it'd be something that we'd want to, you know, that you may look at that say 42 lights, maybe too many lights. And then, you know, I'm the advocate in the village for the dark sky compliant fixture. So it'd be wonderful if we didn't need that many to light it properly, but that's, you're here, I'm bringing it up. I had a golden opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I will make sure to note that.
We recently returned comments on the 60% plan set for the platform work, and we did make those comments about being dark sky compliant.
Thank you.
Very good.
But we're excited about this funding opportunity. You know, they told us, you know, these projects of this type would get in the range between $5 to $6 million. So that's very exciting. It's a lion's share of the funding. We've also reached out to BNSF's governmental affairs person to seek funding from them. And this project has regional significance. You know, their closest crossings are very far away. So we're excited to hopefully get some traction on this and move it forward.
Aye, there's a motion, a second. I'd ask for roll call, please.
Trustee Little. Yes. Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Motion passes. Look forward to seeing what you think. Moving on the agenda to, going back to the agenda D, setback variance. Well, first of all, the next 5 items are all Park District related. We need to take them separately. Our planner's going to come up after you could do it now and give a little explanation, and I'll go one at a time, why they're here.
Thank you. Yes. So we have 5 cases related to the Park District tonight. Each one went to planning and zoning as well. 4 of them are for a special use permits. A lot of these parks didn't have special use permits on file with them. So there's a little bit of cleanup, but also they're going to be having improvements on these parks, and this would be the time to have them come in and get the special use along with these other developments that they have planned for their properties. And I believe there's 1 new park as well. And then Mr. Fleck is also here to speak.
All right, we'll go with the D, setback variance and site plan approval for James M. Long Park, 867 Blackhawk Drive. Board to consider an ordinance approving request by the Westmont Park District regarding the property located at 867 Blackhawk Drive, which is James M. Long Park, for the following. 1, zoning ordinance variance to construct a maintenance garage within a required rear yard setback in the M Manufacturing District. And 2, site plan approval for a maintenance garage, relocation of a volleyball court, and addition of pickleball courts. Bob.
Fleck, Westmont Park District. Thank you. Couple comments. Thank you for the plug for Beer Fest. That's always appreciated. That was Trustee Little. Thank you very much. And I know we have a number of topics here tonight, so I will be as efficient as I can in this. James Long Park. On the north side, our maintenance staff operates a small crew out of Ty Warner Park. They work out of that tiny little concession stand garage out there. Somehow we've made it happen over the years, but it's less than ideal, not safe, climbing over equipment to get to equipment. Sometimes we need a mower, you gotta pull everything out to get to a mower, put everything back. We need a small 3-car equivalent equipment shed is the best way. We call it a satellite garage, but an equipment shed. And that would allow us a place to have equipment safely outside of the park and then open up that space for better use by the Youth Baseball Association on the concession stand. Let you know, give you better context, where this would be located. Across the street from James Long Park is what's known as Parcel 6. We have a small parking lot.
You're not on the screen yet.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on the screen.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
It was on my monitor.
I know, yeah, you're mine.
Thank you for bringing that up on the screen. The blue rectangle is the general location of where we propose to put this particular equipment shed. Does it look like it's on maintenance property for the hotel? Yes, because it is, but this triangle right here that runs, this property line that runs towards Black Hawk Drive to the east is actually Park District property. This is land that is leased back to the hotel through the 1984 lease agreement with the development of the hotel in the golf course by the village. When the Park District assumed the property, it assumed the lease. We've been talking to the hotel ownership verbally. They are all for this. We, through a lease amendment, would take a footprint back to accommodate this particular structure.
Hey, Bob, when does that lease expire for the golf course?
Probably in about 60 more years.
That's right, okay.
It was a 99-year lease, began in.
And the village turned it over to the park, yeah.
And that parking lot's to the north of the actual park area, right?
That is correct.
Across the street,
Kitty
okay.
corner from Ty Warner Park and straight
Right.
north of James Long Park with the basketball courts.
Right, okay.
Parking lot, this is the half-circle drive connecting the two halves of the parking lot. Our proposal is to saw cut the curb, do a depressed curb and apron up to a concrete pad and access the overhead doors straight from the parking lot. And again, this is going to be small equipment. We're not going to be putting our fleet trucks in this property. One story, and then we'd have a fenced-in area behind a rolling gate for our dumpsters. And the variance that is needed here is for the proximity off the north lot line. Okay.
But it's with the golf course that variance is, the golf courses would object to that variance.
Correct.
Yeah, because it's their property, okay.
Correct.
Hey, Bob, quick question on the roadway when you pull in, like we have to park there.
Access drive, when we go back to that.
Did I read that that's village's responsibility to maintain in the packet, or does the village own that? I just was kind of confused on who owns that, like, entrance to the parking lot, because
That
it's.
is Park District property.
Okay.
With an easement there for the village and for the hotel.
Okay.
The village has a water main easement that runs right south down the access drive, and then through, actually, our property line is about 20 feet north of this green strip that's right here. It goes into the hotel maintenance yard. And the village water main runs right through here and then jogs south.
Is there a plan to, like, maybe fix up the little entranceway there?
Yes.
Part of it? Nice.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so as part of all this, and we did not spend the money until we knew we could get through this process, get it approved and plan for it. If we're gonna do all this construction, yes, it makes sense at that time then to improve this drive as well.
Yeah, we get more parking when you hide those dumpsters too. That'll be nice.
Correct.
Yeah.
And across the street, to meet the demand, partial demand of all the people that are playing pickleball here in the community, they've been playing on striped courts and there. Trustee Nero's a big fan. Playing at Ty Warner Park on multi-purpose courts that are for tennis, but then we striped half of them for pickleball. They've coexisted well, but we need to provide permanent spaces. So the plan here across the street is to take the sand volleyball court that is in this location on the east side of the shelter, relocate that to the east side of the basketball courts, and then have 2 permanent pickleball courts that would be lit with access to parking, shade, and restrooms. So that is the plan for James Long Park.
We know that I live in the area, so does the neighbor. That sandball court is used quite a bit during the summer by young people. It
Correct.
keeps them off the street, keeps them busy. I hope you construct the sandball court first before you put the pickleball in. And will that be lit at night also? You have lights there?
Yeah, very
There's
simple.
lights there tonight, right now.
There is a light, basketball light, on the east side of the basketball courts. We can simply add another light or spin a light
Okay.
to accommodate the sand volleyball court. Already talked to our lighting guy about that.
So is it possible to build the sand, that's a new construction, put that in first before you do the pickleball courts?
You know, this isn't a big project.
It is, yes, that's why I'm trying to get my focus.
I think it's going to be, the contractor's just going to get in there and do it all at one time.
Okay.
Yeah, it would actually probably slow them down if they, I understand
Yeah, I
what
see.
you're trying to do is accommodate one without losing it, but it would probably slow down their on-site construction work if they were to do one, stop, and then do the other.
Okay,
They can do
all
it
right.
all at once, faster.
Just give you some perspective from the young people that are playing there during the summer.
Right.
Keeps them busy.
Yes.
At night, thank you.
They do have an opportunity across the street as well at Ty Warner Park.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, asphalt or concrete for pickleball?
Is it rubber?
I'm evaluating that right now. Yeah.
Because the ones at Ty are asphalt.
Correct, they're asphalt. So concrete, you can't really color coat. Asphalt, you can. Concrete, if you reinforce it properly, like we've done at the skate park, it will last longer, more expensive up front. So these are things to consider.
Can we start making reservations for the courts?
Yeah, get in line, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's great. Love it.
Do I have a motion to approve the new business D?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second Little.
30 second.
Motion made second. Any other comments? Just stay there, Bob. Roll call, please.
Who made the, Steve?
Yes.
Who seconded? I'm sorry, I was writing notes.
Linda.
Linda did.
Linda had the second, okay. Thank you. All right. Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich?
Yes.
Trustee Little? Yes. Trustee Grady?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business E, special use permit for Fritz Worley Park, 490 North Warwick Avenue. Board to consider ordinance approving a request by the Westmont Park District regarding the property located at 490 North Warwick Avenue, which is Fritz Worley Park, for the following. Special use permit to allow an existing park, associated facilities, and new improvements, which to add an open shelter and pathways in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. I don't know if Mr. Williams don't need to, so keep going, Bob, you're up there.
Okay, existing park, Fritz Worley. It is home of our T-ball program. Has one tennis court and an existing playground. Through cooperation with the village, we've expanded this open space, acquired 218 North Warwick. It is not shown here. It is roughly in this location on the south side of the park, between the existing parkland and the detention basins that were constructed by the village and now part of the larger park property. Very simple improvements here. Install an interior pathway that will now connect a whole loop with the sidewalks around the park. And a small, on this plan, it shows a 20 by 28 picnic shelter. We're going to downsize that a little bit. It'll be a 20 by 20 open-air picnic shelter with maybe 3 to 4 picnic tables underneath it. Very simple. It will not be for rent, just for the neighborhood use. And that's all we're proposing to do at Fritz Worley Park.
The lots that you inherited from the village, is that all going to be considered Fitzworley Park?
It already is.
It already is, so both sides of the street?
Yes, it's been, well, it is on both sides of the street, but on the west side of the street, the detention basins to the south of the existing park have all been consolidated already under one lot and one PIN number.
For the west side, how about the east side?
The east side, no.
No.
It's still 2 lots.
Got it. Trustee Simonovic.
Having frequented this T-ball park many times, parking is kind of a disaster. And unsafe at times, I think, with the little kids there when you're trying to get in and out of T-ball games. Is there any plans to make any changes to the parking options at this park?
Those parking options are off-street parking. We'd have to work with the village on that because technically that is all in the village right-of-way for that on-street parking. So if there's something we can do to look at, I'd be happy to talk to Public Works and see what we can improve upon.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion made, second. Additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Simonovic?
Yes?
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to the third request from the park, special use and consolidation for a neighborhood park at 314 North Grant Street. Board to consider ordinance approving request by the Westmont Park District regarding properties located at 314 and 350, Lot 2 of the Sea Cliff subdivision, North Grant Street, for the following. 1, special use permit for a new park and associated facilities in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. 2, preliminary and final plat of subdivision to consolidate 2 lots into one lot in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. And 3, Westmont Land Development Ordinance variance for relief from both the installation and cash in lieu contribution of required land improvements. Director Fleck.
It's always exciting when we can bring new parkland online and add it to the community for the community's benefit. In 2021, we acquired the 1-acre parcel at 314 North Grand Street. In 2022, we acquired the half-acre property at 350 North Grand Street. To obtain 1.5 acres here on North Grand Street, it is north of Chicago Avenue, south of Ogden Avenue, to provide this neighborhood park. This is a park that will not have parking. It is strictly for the neighborhood, a traditional neighborhood park. Dimensions are 180 by almost 400 feet. We would maintain as much open space as we can. There are existing trees on both lots. The north half-acre, we have not done any tree work yet. There are a mix of existing large quality trees, but also some dead trees and some brush that we would need to get in there and selectively remove. But we will, as we did on the south half, preserve as many quality trees, in fact, all the quality trees as we can, and work around them. A small shelter, open-air shelter, drinking fountain, a playground, and open play space. Nothing more, all accessible by public sidewalk.
But of course, one side of the street would allow village ordinance parking if someone drove from their home to.
Correct. Something I just learned at P&Z, I did not realize, north of Chicago Avenue, there's public parking a lot on both sides of the street here, not just one.
It's more than just a Chicago Avenue thing. It's anywhere where there's not curb and gutter, we tend to permit it.
There's my answer.
The general ordinance says, you know, parking on one side where signed, and we don't sign anything on gravel shoulder roads.
Okay. So there's on-street parking.
Yeah, I mean, it's traditionally a neighborhood park where they'll walk to, but there's sidewalks?
Correct. Existing sidewalks.
A nice improvement for
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Barker.
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and second to approve. Any additional?
The only thing I want to say, I'm in the 200 Black and North grant, and this is going to be a nice addition on further Black North. There's a lot more younger families moving in that area, and I think this is going to be very well used, so I think it's great.
The reason we did this is, one, we had seen these properties have been sitting vacant for 15 years respectively. And the master plan goal for the Park District is to provide a neighborhood park every half mile. And we did see an underserved area here. The opportunity presented itself. We were very creative in our strategies to work with the property owners. And through 2 grants, we were able to acquire these. So we got, for the community of Westmont, 50 cents on the dollar to acquire this property.
I think it's going to be a great addition to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Glad to hear it.
Hey, Bob, I gotta ask, did you design these?
Yes, I created these plans.
What an awesome advantage to have for working for our park district. That's awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He used to work for the village, too.
Yeah.
I'd also point out that for this special use and all the other park special use ordinances, they include special conditions for the park district, which was kind of negotiated special conditions between the village and the park district to provide some flexibility for the park to alter its programming, create new structures, buildings, walkways, without having to come back before the board for an amended special use in each instance. But when there are significant structures put up that do not comply with the bulk regulations of the R3 district, or where there's new programming, let's say like new pickleball courts that could have an adverse impact by way of traffic, noise, lighting, et cetera, then the park would have to come back before the village for approval of an amended special use permit and describe what their plans are.
Yeah. And I think you would agree the biggest impact with those special conditions would be for the smaller neighborhood parks. But it's our intent, because of when the Park District bought Ty Warner Park, is to take the programming out of the small neighborhood parks, like this new Grand Street Park that does not have parking, does not have sufficient space. So we're not so concerned about being restricted in the future.
I'd ask for roll call, please.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. Now, they can't go back in history and say the person who didn't come before the village is in trouble, can they? I'm exempt. Back then,
think
no
this
one
is
had.
many decades
Yeah.
before that, too.
No one had to do any of this years ago, but it's a good thing to do. New business, G, special use for Diane Main Park, 300 West 59th Street. Board to consider an ordinance approving a request from the Westmont Park District regarding the property located at 300 West 59th Street, Diane Main Park, for the following. 1, special use permit to allow an existing park, associated facilities, and new improvements, remove a daycare, a preschool facility, and replace with a skate park in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. And that's it. Mr. Fleck.
I want to explain quickly, before I get into this specific location and improvement, that it's connected to another park. They are just inherently connected because of the proposed changes. We're very excited about this and very lucky that we're in a position to be able to provide these improvements and amenities for our residents, where some communities are not able to do that, whether it is a skate bike park or permanent pickleball courts. And we're in position to satisfy and serve multiple groups at one time here. And that's why we're looking at relocating the skate park from 63rd Street at Bellary Park over to Diane Main. Pickleball is growing rapidly. It's going to continue to grow. In every community we've talked to, in every pickleball group we've talked to, and there is a USA Pickleball rep who happens to live here in Westmont, who has been very helpful. Building 2 courts is insufficient. They come in large groups, they need parking, they want lighting, restroom facilities, and shade. And they tend to come in large groups and kind of play a round-robin circuit when they're there and stay for extended periods of time. So you need the space, you need the volume, you need the parking. We really can't provide that at just about any location. The skate park at 63rd Street is reaching the end of its useful life. It's a wood frame structure. That type of park is really not constructed anymore because of the wear and tear on it. Newer, more durable concrete skate parks are the wave of the future. They last longer, and it's very desirable. It's the Cadillac. We're looking to create that Cadillac and replace something that is now beyond the ability to maintain it the way it should be maintained because of its age and because of the wear and tear on it. By doing that, we can move pickleball over to Bella Reeve Park, which I'll show next. So that's where we are with a plan to relocate the skate park off the parking lot at Diane Main Park, where currently the old preschool building still stands. We would remove that building. A lot of electrical improvements have to happen. We would do that first, later this summer, after our last season of summer fun for 3- and 4-year-olds at this location, and then be prepared to build a new skate park. We would not remove the skate park on 63rd Street until this one is finished.
Lighting, this would not have lighting like the one on 63rd.
It would have lighting. The plan is to have lighting, but not that extensive.
Okay.
We don't need poles that are 20 feet in the air for a skate park. We can do this with more of a pathway type lighting that will be lower and not like an athletic lighting that we currently have.
But Bella Reeve would be sufficient for pickleball, for athletic.
That is correct.
It's already there. Trustees.
I know you had a lot of stakeholders in the skate park and interested in making sure the skate park happened. And are there concerns about the relocation and how that might affect the regular users of the skate park in terms of them being able to now get to Diane Main? It's a very different location than where Bella Reeve was.
I'll answer, there's multiple questions. The first is some of the stakeholders. We had from neighbors to the neighbors of Diane Main Park to the users of the skate park. We had a special meeting last week at the Park District where we invited many of the neighbors, we invited the users. We had not a big turnout, but we had a nice turnout. It was an excellent meeting where the neighbors really got a better understanding and education on the skate park and what these are about. The users are very excited about this, from young kids all the way up into their 50s. We have individuals that were part of the original planning and proposal of the skate park who are now close to 40 years old. They're professionals. They're coming out, reaching out. I'm having conversations with them again, and they're very excited to be a part of this process and have this new opportunity. And the neighbors are also, now that they've seen it, a rep from one of the skate park companies was there who would handle the design. It was a very open back and forth and better understanding that this is a sport. This is what these individuals do, where some people like to play baseball, basketball, pickleball. They take this very seriously, and it's going to be a great improvement.
Essentially, for Trustee Simonovich, the ones that walk, this is a safer location than 63rd Street. That was
Yeah,
always
probably
a
is.
concern of
For sure.
run across 63rd. So this site, it won't be as large, but it will be safer to get to.
If you have wheels, you're going to get here.
Yeah.
And get here just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's only about 4 blocks, am I correct?
It's very close, and that was appealing as well, the fact that it's still in this region of Westmont.
So I read a comment, I think, on this one, and there was a concern about the park being crowded. Do you guys track that at all, the usage?
No, are we counting the people in the parks?
Yeah.
No.
You don't ever feel like, Ty Warner's always crowded, Diane Main Park's always crowded. You don't, it doesn't matter. You know, and to me, I thought it was a positive, you know, if the people are going to the parks and they're packed, isn't that beautiful, right?
100%. This is a destination park, so we have a handful of community parks that are destinations. Tyrone Park, Veterans Memorial Park, and Diane Main Park. Bellerive is kind of on that spectrum as well. We want them used. That's a wonderful thing. It shows what a great asset it is, and the more people that are there, the better it is, the safer it's going to be.
Agreed, yep.
And, go ahead. Do I have a motion to approve? That's what I'm looking for.
Motion to
Diane
approve.
Main.
Diane Main, yes.
Motion to approve.
Second, Guzzo.
Motion been made and second. To approve, any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to the last request, new business H, for the park, special uses and variances for Bellerive Park, 201 West 63rd Street. Board to consider ordinance approving request by the Westmont Park District regarding the property at 201 West 63rd Street, which is Bellerive Park, for the following. 1, special use permit to allow an existing park, associated facilities, and new improvements, which is remove a skate park and replace with pickleball courts in the R1 Single Family Detached Residence District. 2, special use permit for electronic message board sign, which replaces an existing monument sign. 3, zoning ordinance variance to increase the maximum gross surface area of an electronic message board sign. And 4, zoning ordinance variance to allow an electronic message board sign within the required front lot line setback. Still yours, Bob.
Okay. We're down to the final agenda item here for the Park District. Bellerive Park, 63rd Street, 7-acre property at the north end, adjacent to the existing Village Water Tower. This red box is the existing skate park, right off 63rd Street. We would preserve the fence, we would preserve the concrete slab, and repurpose it for 6 permanent pickleball courts at this location. Otherwise, there's no change to the park. We're very fortunate that this concrete slab, it's flat, it's in perfect condition because of the way we built it to make sure that it did not break up, having all these skateboards and bikes roll across it while they're flipping around in the air. So it would be an easy transition to turn this into pickleball after the new skate park is complete. That's what we're looking to do.
And
Second.
yeah.
The Park District is interested in developing and installing a two-sided digital message board on 63rd Street, high volume of traffic, opportunity to, not only for the Park District, but for the village and some other community members and partners, provide information and advertising at this location on this heavily traveled street here in south end of Westmont. Location for this, there is an existing park monument sign that is mid-property, right off the water tower and the skate park. We would remove it and install a two-sided message board, very much like what you see here in this picture.
Bob, advertisement would just be for our village programs.
No
not-
commercial advertising, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
per village code.
Yeah, got it.
And there's 2 potential locations for that electronic message board sign.
That is correct.
And the ordinance allows flexibility for the Park District to determine which one is the most appropriate. They're trying to deal with possibly vacating an easement so that it can be located in their preferred location. If that doesn't work, there's a secondary location. I think one requires like a 5-foot setback variance, the other's 7-foot. The ordinance gives authority, once the Park District to choose one of those 2 locations and put the sign up if you approve it.
Our preference is mid-property The challenge that we have to overcome is the water tower easement runs from this sidewalk line all the way over to the skate park, from 63rd Street sidewalk almost to the south end of the skate park. The way it's written, it is an easement for all public utilities, even though it's just the water tower in there with one electric line to serve the water tower and a gas line for your backup generator, which are out of the way from the proposed location of our sign. But what we have to do is carve out a donut hole in there and then work to get all the utility companies to vacate that donut hole so we can put in the sign.
All the
Won't be an
ones-
easy task.
All the ones
Good
that are
luck,
there
yeah.
are all utilities company for
All
future.
utility companies.
For the, okay,
Vacate or permission
permission to,
to build on their easement right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would suspect that none of those utilities even know they have a right to that, because all their utilities, and we checked, we located everything, all their utilities are all on the north side of the sidewalk in the parkway.
So you'll have two message boards in two different locations.
One or the other.
One or the other.
yeah, he'll have an option to pick one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we cannot get the utilities to grant us permission and vacate that box we want to create, we're going to have to move it then to the east side of the property near the stoplights.
And if I'm not mistaken, Manager May, some of this funding is left over from BMW for a village-wide message board.
Yeah, are we still holding it, or did we?
Did we release the 50,000? No, we're still holding it, and it's in escrow for the park to decide where the best place to put it, so we're.
Hopefully for this.
And BMW paid that as one of the requirements when they expanded.
Correct. When we vacated Westmont
Yes.
Drive.
So that money is sitting there for the park to use for this sign.
Stop reminding them.
I know, he forgot.
I'm sure he
I haven't
did.
forgotten.
No, I know he has. I need a motion to approve.
To approve, Nero.
Yes, Valerie Park.
Second Little.
Bruce made it?
No,
Second.
Steve made it.
Steve made it.
And Linda, but I have a question.
Yeah.
Or a comment.
We made it.
Steve made it, and who seconded? Linda.
Okay, trustee Barker.
Okay. So, Mayor, I thought I heard Mr. Fleck compliment the concrete there at the skate park. Weren't you the director at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, didn't you hire Bob?
Hey, I also took those 3 or 4 young men to Cleveland to.
I remember.
Yeah, to
It was a long time ago.
visit a,
Yeah,
But
we had a road trip.
road trip.
30 years of Park District leadership here. You guys are doing great. Absolutely great.
Made a lot of good things happen, and we're going to make more.
I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. Before you head out, the village also was supportive of that skate park by granting dollars towards the,
100% correct.
yes, and we're happy it's being replaced at another location.
Right. There was an intergovernmental agreement, the group of young
Message board, don't we?
riders, there was about 8 high schoolers that led the charge, and then they had.
I was
about-
there.
Yeah, that's right.
I was there.
And then
I
there
voted
was
yes.
About 70 others that were part of it, supporting the process. They put a proposal together, came to the Park District, the Park Board unanimously said, we need to support this. They then came to the Village Board, and the Village Board did the same thing as well.
If I
Also
re-
contributed dollars.
If I recall, Jim Long was a no.
No. Yeah. Was it 140 grand? It was
It was 140 grand.
$40,000 the village contributed to. And then, one more thing. You mentioned, and I wasn't going to bring it up, you mentioned that the park's master plan, or comprehensive plan, says that you need a park within 6 blocks of existing park.
Neighborhood parks a half mile from each other.
Half mile. The one that were postponed for you to look at, that within 6 blocks or half mile of an existing park too, right? For
Yes.
the time, okay.
Mhm. There are other park recreational property is very close by, but I will share the comments with the park board.
Yeah, good.
Of course.
We always want green space, but, all right. Anything else for Bob? No? All right, thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
When's the building opening at Veterans?
We expect to be able to take the building sometime in February, probably late February, that we'll have to put furniture in it, refrigerators, shelving, those kinds of things. Definitely be ready by May, but for sure, it'll be used come day camp this summer. But we're working through the process of how are we going to plan it, what are we going to program out of there, and then make it available for rental opportunities for the community. So it's coming along.
I heard on the news that you're creating a rental or use a sled at Ty Warner.
I
A
saw that.
sled library, how about that?
was
Something so
awesome.
simple
Yeah.
has gotten so much
So,
traction. Yeah.
You're going to leave a bunch of sleds and they can just,
Yep, purchased some sleds, put them in a box, painted the box blue, the maintenance guys put it out there.
Great.
Kind of
It's
took the idea from
absolutely-
Woodridge Park District, but we're getting all the credit.
that's great. Great,
all matters.
good idea.
Okay,
All right, thanks, Bob.
thank you.
I guess we'll move on to new business I. Approval of change order number 1, final for cyclic parkway tree pruning. Board to consider ordinance approving change order number 1, final for the cyclic path parkway tree pruning 2023 project for the amount of $36,832.50. Director Reese.
Good evening. The village board awarded a contract to Yellowstone Landscape Group on February 9th, 2023, and the original amount was $85,638.86. This contract included the pruning of all public trees 3-inch diameter and larger in the entire southeast portion of town and Farmingdale subdivision. During the course of the project, it was discovered that there were errors in the data provided to the contractor, and this resulted in additional 665 trees being pruned. We did a exhaustive investigation of this error in the database. The error has been fixed, and the contract template has been changed to avoid any similar issues in the future. So this change order is requested in the amount of $36,000 or $36,832.50, and the total project cost will be $122,371.36. There is sufficient funds in the budget to support this change order.
Do I have a motion to approve the change order?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Simonovich,
Yes.
trustee Brady,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, thank you. Okay, 2024 DMMC Legislative Action Program Resolution. Board to consider a resolution to support the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference 2024 Legislative Action Program. And we're going to have our representative who's on that committee representing Westmont, Patty, at the podium to tell us more about it.
So in your package, you will see the handout. This handout is sent with all the mayors and managers of DMMC to Springfield when they do the drive down to be handed to legislators. That's why it's only one page, easy to read. In the committee, we debate all the different things that could go on here. In the years I've done it, we've had very many boxes and way too much for people to inhale. So it's nice, short and sweet with what we found were the top 3. We ask that you support it so that our name could be added to the list. The top 3 are to restore the LGDF, which has been on it for the last 10 years. since the
Always
East
number
Bay.
one.
Yeah, right.
The sustainable pensions, because there are some changes being talked about for downstate pensions. And my personal favorite that I fought very hard for, which was the Freedom of Information Act, to make it not quite so heavy on staff to fulfill it. So we hope you will pass it. If you have any questions, I'm here. Anybody?
And Patty's been very active representing us, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve Barker.
Second, Little?
Motion been made, second. better, she goes, I don't have to, so. But she's doing a very good job, very good.
So you ready?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich?
Motion
I'm going to
passes.
abstain on this
Oh,
one.
she's going to abstain.
Thank you.
Okay.
We still got an item here. Chief,
Hey, wake them up back there.
surplus property, Westmont Police Department. Board to consider ordinance declaring the attached inventory list from the police department as surplus property. Should I still call you Chief Gunther, or?
Yes.
No?
Yes,
Okay.
that'd be perfect. The list is attached. I can go through it in painstaking detail if you'd like. Or in the interest of time, we can speed it along. Basically, it's office furniture and 3 ballistic vest carriers that are up for inventory.
It's a requirement. So, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second Little?
Motion made in second.
Second.
Second. Any?
Wait a minute, I thought we got.
We got it already,
Yeah.
yeah. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Motion passes. That was the easiest of the night. Anybody else have any other information that we missed that want to talk about? If not, we don't have a need for executive session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Again, I want to thank everyone. This meeting is adjourned.